Hey everybody, it's Dr. Michelle Bengtson with another hope-filled perspective. I haven't been on here in a little while, been spending a little bit more time just soaking in the Word, spending time with God instead of online. But this morning as I was spending time with Him, I came across a verse that I honestly don't remember ever reading before. I know I have, but today, for whatever reason, it made an impression on me. And so I wanted to come on here just for a minute and share a hope-filled perspective with you about not being intimidated by your enemies. We all have an enemy, whether it's a physical person or the Bible says we have an enemy. And he's the one who seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. And I don't know about you, but when life gets difficult, and when hardship comes, and when we face trials, and when we're under spiritual attack by our enemy, sometimes it's easy to give in to the temptation to be intimidated by our enemy. But recently I've been reading a book about David and Goliath, and I have so much more respect for David after having read through this book, because I think about him and I think about everybody else heard Goliath come out every day and taunt and tease and bully and intimidate them, and they turned around and said, no, we're not going to fight that giant. But David was the only one, this scrawny little shepherd boy, he was the only one who was not intimidated by the giant that he faced, by his enemy. And I've thought about that recently because I have been facing some giants, some big things, and that are big and looming and ominous, and it looks like they're blocking every open door. And I've really had to settle in my spirit that I was not going to let what I could see intimidate me from believing what God has said. Let me say that again. I was not going to allow what I could see to intimidate me and prevent me from believing what God has said. And this morning I read this verse, and I want to read it for you. Hey Tina, good to see you. This verse comes from Philippians 1:28, and it says, don't be intimidated in any way by your enemies. This will be a sign to them that they are going to be destroyed, but that you are going to be saved, even by God Himself. And as I read that, I thought, don't be intimidated by your enemies, but they're intimidating. But if we will decide to trust God and believe what He has said, and believe that He has plans for us and they are to prosper us and not to harm us, then we can choose not to be intimidated by our enemies. And in choosing not to be intimidated, that will be a sign to them that God is going to destroy our enemies for us, and God is going to save us. But it's a matter of choice. We have to choose not to be intimidated. We have to choose to believe that God is going to be our defender. He's going to be our rescuer. He's going to be our provider. He's going to be our healer. He's going to be our sustainer. He's going to be our redeemer. We have to choose to put our trust in Him rather than putting our trust in the enemies that stand before us. But if we will choose not to be intimidated by our enemies, that's going to be a sign to them not to mess with us, because they're going to be destroyed and we are going to be saved. I hope that that is an encouragement to you today, because it was to my heart. It was exactly what I needed to hear today as I face some giants in my life. Know that I love you. I'm praying for you. And until next time, may you have a hope-filled day. Again, this is Dr. Michelle Bengtson. Until next time, with your hope-filled perspective.